Good evening. Christie Care launches in New Jersey. Obamacare is set to show it. And Corbett Care, cracker please. He don't care about nobody. Iran agrees to put nukes on freeze. Penn State, who are we? Install security cameras. 20 years too late. And in Florida, it's still stand your ground, unless you're brown. These stories and more on tonight's edition of the I'm Only Serious News' Sunday paper program.
It's the I'm Only Serious News Network with Dan Mahan, Dave Morrow, Tony Viejo, Tim Eli, Mark Lipo, and Darren Martinez.
Governor Christie launched New Jersey's long-awaited gambling site for the internet this week to about as much success as Obama had with his healthcare network. Since you must be inside the state of New Jersey to get online to play their gambling games, the system is designed to verify your location. However, many people found themselves waiting for 7 hours or more to try and get on site, even if they're right outside the casino itself. But more disturbing to most of these people was having to watch Governor Christie's videos with Stronger Than a Storm playing behind them. That's what really pissed them off. In Washington, D.C., Obamacare was credited with saving 2 lives this week. That's right. Because Obamacare, 2 turkeys got pardoned for their Thanksgiving slaughter that they were facing. And then you add that to the 5 turkeys he's pardoned since he's been president, and it puts him about 480 turkeys short of restocking Congress. Yeah, which is still the largest herd or flock of turkeys in the United States. Staying in the care field, Governor Corbett of Pennsylvania signed his own care bill titled Corbett Care? ? Cracker, please. When he signed his transportation bill that will raise the gasoline tax by 30 cents a gallon. Now, he could have raised the necessary funds by properly charging fees to energy companies poking wells for oil and natural gas throughout our state, which, by the way, is polluting our streams, but refused to burden big oil. Well, Pennsylvania, you voters will get a chance in 2014 to give them the thumbs up and over your shoulder as we tell them to take a hike. We'd say hit the road, but most of us won't be driving with another 30 cents tacked on a fucking gallon of gas. In Florida, a woman was recently released on bond to house arrest while she awaits a new trial on her defense of stand your ground for a warning shot that she fired at her estranged husband. Now, the same defense strategy that cleared George Zimmerman of murdering a 17-year-old black teenager, Trayvon Martin, did not help Marissa Alexander avoid a 20-year prison sentence in her first trial. Miss Alexander, a black single mother of 3, was sentenced to 20 years for having fired a warning shot in the direction of her estranged husband, who had been arrested twice before for attacking her. What the cracker, please? You can't make these things up. But in response to her release in time for the holidays, Miss Alexander stated that she was looking forward to a white Christmas. Now, not Snow White, mind you, but her cosmetic skin bleaching procedure to help prepare her for her retrial. You know what I'm saying? In local news, in the Northeast Philadelphia area, a masked man has robbed the same Wawa store 4 times in the last 2 months alone. Now, officials don't believe it's the same man robbing the same store, since the burglar has ordered a different sandwich each time at the robbery. No connection, they said. There's no connection there. And the fraud trial of charter school boss Dorothy June Brown, the professor of pilfering, they call her, continues. She's accused of embezzling a little over $6.7 million over 4 years from a half dozen charter schools that she owns. But Since our schools do outperform the rest of the city schools, Mayor Nutter Butter Peanut Butter intends to hire her for school superintendent upon her release from prison. And the hump behind that fatal collapse, folks, of a building in onto the Salvation Army thrift store back in June in the city of Philadelphia, has been arrested and held without bail on 6 counts of third-degree murder. Griffin Campbell, well, he'll need a Griffin to save him now. And Philadelphia's Thanksgiving Day Parade, it's the oldest such parade in the USA, went off without a hitch. Except for when Santa's hat blew off and his wig with it, exposing Ben Franklin. Go figure. Sending children crying to their parents, nonetheless. And iOS News later discovered, folks, that Mrs. Claus was none other than Betsy Manhands Ross herself, too. There you go. Welcome to the big city. Penn State has finally, that crazy land of Happy Valley, installed cameras around their campus, except in places where coaches hang out. Ex-coach Sandusky is requesting permission to link up to the cameras from his prison cell. But when he was told they won't show kids under 17, he rescinded his request and decided to stick with the Directory channel for his 1-hour daily viewing. Directory, shown. Speaking of things that go on in the Directory, here we are with our own Tim Eli with this week's edition of Masturbate Theater. Oh, Tim.
Hey, good evening. Tim Eli here, Masturbate Theater. Last week we took a look at popular World War II movies featuring the Dirty Dozen. This week we take a look at another war, the war on organized crime. Organized crime, what comes to mind? The Godfather, all-time classic. Little known piece of trivia, originally the working title of the movie was How Did Your Day Go? Ultimately, for Hollywood purposes, they switched it to The Godfather, which was probably a better choice, right? Now, we all know the movie. We know it. You got your Corleone family, right? You got the Don. You got Sonny. You got Michael, right? You got Fredo, right? Fredo, the Herb Decay of the family. But anyway, you got Fredo. But it's the characters in this movie, peripheral characters for a good way to put it. Those are the ones that really make the movie for me. Good example. Hollywood producer Jack Woltz. He makes this movie for me. One of the characters that makes this movie for me. Fantastic, fantastic. He's making this movie. Now we all know it's based on a popular New Jersey singer, and it's based on an Academy Award winning movie, right? So he's making a movie. He's not going to have Johnny Fontaine in the movie. Johnny Fontaine is the Don's godson. So Tommy Hagen goes out there. Says, look, Mr. Waltz, do us a favor. You know, my client's a big, influential guy. You do him this favor, give Johnny the role, no problem, right? Waltz won't have anything of it. Well, eventually they get together for dinner, you know, the whole 9 yards. And one of the greatest scenes in this movie is when Waltz is bawling out Tommy Hagen, the consigliere. He's bawling him out. And he's telling him, he goes, you know, I'm not a cold-hearted man. It's not all about dollars and cents. She was the best piece of ass I ever had. And I've had them all over the world. Now you get the hell out of here. It's lines like that. At least get a rush out of me. Gets the testosterone flowing, you know? Anyway, that's Jack Waltz, Hollywood producer. Another one. Another good role in the movie that really captures the movie for me. Mo Green. Mo Green. The big Vegas casino kingpin out there, right? You notice in The Godfather, Fredo, he's got a couple of scenes. He's good, but there's not enough Fredo. Well, they send Fredo out to Vegas to work in the casinos for Mo Green. Problem is, Fredo goes to Vegas, finds out about pussy, and becomes a wild man, okay? So The Godfather sends Michael out there. They decide they're going to buy a casino in Vegas, get out of New York, start all over again. So the idea is Michael Corleone's going to make an offer to Mo Green. And, you know, Mo Green is like, you know, I had to straighten Freddie out. You know, Freddie is Fredo, right? I had to straighten Freddie out. He was making cocktail waitresses 3 at a time. You guys don't buy me out, I buy you out. Mo Green was pretty cool. Of course, he ended up with a bullet in the head at the end of the movie. That was a cool scene, though, too. Can't beat it, man. Can't beat it. Fredo, like I said, I mentioned Fredo a couple times. He should have been more in Godfather. Godfather 2, much bigger role. Should have had more in the first one, though. Right? Good line. At the dinner where they're having dinner with Mo Green. Mo leaves the room pissed off. Fredo goes up to Michael. Mike, you don't come into Vegas and say something like that to about a guy like Mo Green like that. Or something like that line anyway. That's my best impression, by the way. The other great Fredo line in the movie is when the Don gets shot. Fredo was chauffeuring his old man that day. The greatest line. Papa! Papa! That was the whole line. I loved it, though. I loved that freaking line. Captain McCluskey. Now, this is when the Don's in the hospital. Michael goes to visit and finds out all of the hired security guards aren't there anymore, okay? Captain McCluskey, who's working for Virgil Salazzo, has them all chased away. Really cool, really cool. So, first line out of his mouth when Captain McCluskey shows up and sees Michael standing there. I thought I got all you guinea hoods locked up. Beautiful, because you can't say that shit today. I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful. The only other line in the movie that McCluskey had that I liked is when they're at, Joe Lewis's place in the Bronx. McCluskey goes to Salazzo. He goes, what's good here? Salazzo goes, try the veal. It's the best in the city. McCluskey was half drunk because he's Irish. He's a cop. It comes out of his mouth, I'll have it. Fantastic. That's the kind of shit I pick up on, which explains my career taking off the way it has. But it worked for me anyway. Luca Brasi, we all know about Luca. What the hell is that all about? I have no idea, man. But Luca, when he's practicing his wedding day congratulatory speech, he's outside by himself. When he finally gets inside to meet with the Don and congratulate him, it comes out something like, I am honored and grateful that you have invited me to your daughter's wedding, on the day of your daughter's wedding. And I hope their first child is a masculine child. Finally, of course, one of the only other characters I really liked, I would have liked to see more of, was the Don's son-in-law, Connie's husband, Carlo Rizzi. Fantastic, fantastic. Especially when Carlo is beating the piss out of her in the kitchen. And you get to hear all the cool Italian stuff that you don't normally hear anymore. You know, like, "No fanculo," you know, and "up yours, you guinea brat." Great stuff like that. Anyway, you've all seen it. See it again, The Godfather. Real quick, I'm in divorce court this week. If it goes as well as it's gone up until now, I'm going to end up with Faggion Guts. You know what I mean? So my next movie review will obviously be The Hunger Games. Forget about it.
Thanks, Tim. Although I don't know how Rizzy was able to be in the mob and, Jimmy Conway wasn't going to be allowed in. Cracker, please. He's more mob than that boy ever was. But continuing on our entertainment movie theme, we're going to bring you our own Darren Martinez with this week's updates on what you should and what you shouldn't be watching.
All right, so I got some movies I want to recommend this weekend that you guys go check out. And this is because these things are happening in the news. When I say these things, there's certain films out there that are happening. Star Wars, there's a new Star Wars coming out. Did you know that?
No way. With Disney characters?
It's gonna, yeah, Episode 7. Disney's gonna be producing this, and they're gonna be backing it. But I don't want to go and recommend you guys go and see a Star Wars film because I assume everyone's already seen those films, right? We're gonna assume that. So I'm gonna go and say, check out Fanboys. It was a good film. You ever see Fanboys, Dan?
Shouldn't that have been in Tim's skit? Oh, it's not one of them movies, huh?
Yeah, no. Fanboys is a good film. It's about a couple kids. A couple kids sneaking into Lucas Films to go see the first episode of Star Wars before it comes out. Very fun film. John Rice, good friend of ours. He right now is unavailable to do the news, but he will be back, and he'll be back to do his video game segment. But I have a couple video game things I want to talk about right now. Call of Duty and the new systems have just been released. Remember, Rice talked about those previously, about Xbox 360, Xbox One versus the PS4.
Right.
Well, they came out and they're battling right now. So far, PS4 looks like they're winning. They've got some bundle packs they're coming out with in a few months or so. So
they're almost like computers at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. They're just as fast as computers. But the Call of Duty game is the #1 game on the new consoles. It's the #1 selling game, which doesn't surprise us because it always breaks the record. And
that plays on either one though too.
Yeah, they have them for all 4 systems, and I believe they even have for Wii U, which is a dying console. Nintendo's dying. It's losing the battle.
They do that every 10 years.
And this could be a reason why. This could be the start of when it died. Was when they chose to adapt this film. Because we're never going to see another Nintendo film. We're never going to see Zelda. We're never going to see anything else like that. Because this film did that. We had John Leguizamo as Luigi. And I love John Leguizamo when this film came out and everything. So go out and watch this film. This is a film I recommend because Nintendo's going to die soon. I love you, Nintendo. But this could be the reason why.
They've died before. It'll be back.
We'll see. This could be the end of them. But talking about Call of Duty, like I said, they're selling out, and there isn't a Call of Duty film I can recommend. But there's a film that's so damn good that it's similar to Call of Duty. It's Black Hawk Down. If you've never seen it, I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a great film. It's got excellent cinematography. You feel like you're right in the battle. I recommend you go check this out. Go buy the new Call of Duty. Go
That's
waste your
funny.
life on video games.
In sports, the NFL season picked up again this week for the Eagles, and they pulled off, they were eked out, more like it, the victory over the Arizona Cardinals. And that keeps them tied up top of the NFC least with the Dallas Cowgirls. And I think their season's going to come down to the final game when we play the Cowgirls on December 29th, folks, the final game of the season. The Flyers are hanging around the 500 mark and need to string together some wins to be better positioned for the playoffs before the Olympic break, fellas. You know what I mean? Cracker, please. And the New Jersey Philadelphia 666ers, our basketball team, in line with the New Jersey Devils, continue to play hard and lose. That's the formula we need, fellas, for this season. We want that high draft pick. In soccer, who gives a damn? Really, who does? But in college football, Temple won and Alabama lost. I just put it that way to make Temple's win sound that much better, but they didn't beat Alabama. No, they didn't beat Alabama. Temple did win the final game of the season, though, and who knows? They may just be a team to follow next year, folks. That quarterback they have in there. Penn State also won their final game of the year, but they are still on a bowl ban from the Sandusky Affairs. The bowl ban. And mighty Alabama, yes, number one all season, lost on a final play to the Auburn Tigers when they returned a last-second field goal for a 100-plus yard touchdown. That play will now be replacing Boston College's own Doug Flutie's Hail Mary with Auburn's new Holy Shit. That's the name of that play. Holy shit, look at that guy run. But for more in sports, we're going to get our MMA update this week, again, with our own Tony Viejo. Tony.
Thanks, Dan. You know, FSU had a hell of a week too. You know,
I forgot you're a Florida guy.
You know, they could be number one. We don't know. We won't know. There has to be like some old guys and a computer and like two other guys sit around and smoke a pack of cigarettes. There needs to be a playoff in College Bowl.
And soon, before the quarterback goes to jail. Just thought I'd throw that in.
All right. Well, in MMA news, we have breaking MMA news that came out this last Friday, and I can't wait to get to this. The National Post-Thanksgiving Battle Royale took place this weekend, and there was 90 injuries and 7 deaths and 2 tramplings. I'm going to talk more about that later, but wow. Way to go, America. Good job. I'm proud of you. Show them how it's done. Alrighty. Now, we're going to do a little quick rundown of the main events that have happened and main events that are coming up. So, Nate Diaz fought this past week against Gary Maynard and delivered a beautiful technical knockout. It was amazing. He went out there and just outboxed him. It was beautiful. And even better than that, his post-fight interview was even better. He said, and I quote, "Man, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm ready to go to the buffet. I'm starving. Peace. Bye. Later." That was it. That's all he said. That's all he needed to do. Why? Because he's a Diaz brother. That's all they need to do. Coming up, we're going to be having, on December 6th, we're going to be having Mark Hunt versus Bigfoot Silva. Now think about this one. Bigfoot Silva, he's beaten Fedor, and he's beaten a number of other people. But he's beaten Fedor. Think about that. One of the greatest of all time. He's also beaten Dan Henderson, too. No, actually, wait, no, Dan Henderson beat him. I don't know. My facts may be askew on that one. I'm sorry I brought that up. But what is important is Mark Hunt can easily knock him out. That chin is the size of something of Easter Island that Bigfoot Silva has. You need to look for that chin. It's massive, huge, insane. All right, now, to round out the month, I believe on the 27th, we're going to be having Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva 2. This Chris Weidman's a person Anderson Silva lost the title to. Chris Weidman knocked him out. This is probably going to happen again. I think it's going to happen again. I don't think Anderson Silva's going to retain the title. Also in this fight, you're going to have Ronda Rousey. Also on this card, you're going to have Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate, and that's going to be very interesting. I predict Ronda Rousey's going to win by, I don't know, armbar. Yeah, because that's how she wins all of her fights. It's a beautiful thing. I'm getting kind of hot under the collar here just saying about Ronda Rousey and arm bars. I'm going to throw it back to Dan. Hey, Dan, there you go, buddy.
You mentioned Florida State. What do you think about their quarterback, Jameis Winston? He's been accused of rape.
Been accused of rape. Well, you know, that's a funny thing amongst college athletes. That happens every now and again when you have a stud out there that's doing the damn thing. I mean, let's go back to when what was that? When that lacrosse thing happened? What that girl's in the news about something right now too, right?
You know, she's just stabbed her boyfriend because
Yeah,
he's a liar
exactly.
too. Apparently.
Yeah, a liar too. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Don't know too much about that story myself. Accusations happen. They happen. If he did it, shame on him. If this is just a false accusation, shame on that person.
Yeah.
That's about all I got for that.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, did you catch that Miller Lite commercial yet with Chuck Liddell in there?
No, I have not.
That was very cool.
I'll have to look for
You
that
know what
one.
they do? Did one where they have ones, they have different ones now, Questlove and all that. But they go around and these guys are trying to get into something and they're saying, you know, just because you have Miller Lite or something, they said, unless you're friends with, and then he pops up. So he opens every door for him, you know,
Oh,
no matter
nice.
where they go. So
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Miller Lite, great beer. Chuck Liddell was a great champion.
definitely was.
All right, thank you.
And now, our Mystic Minute with Dave Morrow. Dave?
Yes, thank you, Dan. Hello, I'm only serious viewers. Welcome once again to the Mystic Minute with your host, Dave Morrow, Dave Ron Morrow, black belt in psychic jiu-jitsu, paranormal investigative journalist, and avid German kickboxer. Tonight I would like to speak of a phenomenon that is currently facing our plane of existence. What we have with us now is extra-dimensional beings are actually attempting to break through into our dimension through the use of obscure European how-to videos. Allow me to explain this. Say you wanted to learn how to change your own oil, right? But you're a Frenchman and naturally a pussy. This did not come easily to you as a skill. So you would look up this video, and at about the ending 55-second mark, where these videos come in short segments, the screen would freeze, right? The remainder of the video has stopped, but the final image remains on screen for a good 10 to 20 more seconds. At this point, foreign language, which I've believed to have deciphered as ancient Mesopotamian. I'm not quite sure on that. I need to speak to some institute professors about that. These entities, well, I cannot decipher their intentions at this time. I believe are to be associated with my good friend Pierre Lapierre in one way or another. It only makes
Your
sense.
nemesis.
Yes, my arch nemesis at this point. I have a few other nemesis, but they're not really. They're all kind of on vacation right now.
Of course, none of us have seen this man yet.
No, no.
Nor a picture of him.
John Smarmy has seen him, but it would seem an abrupt case of amnesia struck him.
And he's
Not
missing
long.
now.
Yes, John Smarmy has been missing in action for quite some time.
Maybe Pierre Lapierre knows that he had seen him. Because before that, it had only been you.
Smarmy wasn't taking French lessons, was he?
I heard he was French kissing this homeless man.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if it's a lesson or not, but if he got sick, that would be a
And he
lesson.
definitely can't change his own oil.
No, he hasn't changed his own
John,
ways.
if you're out there, if you're watching this program right now, John Smarmy, we will come for you. We will find you. Pierre Lapierre. Back to you, Dan.
With a more in-depth look into the NFL games of today, our very own Mark Lipo. Mark?
Thanks, Dan. My name is Mark, and I'm here with today's NFL Lucky Week 13 season for some of the teams. But I'd like to start off by dedicating this segment to the high-flying Eagles, who pulled out a victorious game today against the low-flying Cardinals. So Eagles, if you're up there, yeah, the Eagles are flying high at 7-5, right next to the Cowboys, for tied for the NFC East lead. The Giants are no longer Giants; are actually midgets, continuing to plunder, coming in at 4-7, and the Redskins continue to scalp themselves and are actually bald right now, with only 3 wins in the NFC in the cellar. We're going to move over to the north, and then the Saints go marching in. The Saints are marching actually right into December, continuing their winning ways at the top of the NFC South. 10-2 cliff. The Carolina Panthers are nipping on their buds with a victory today. one game back. We're going to follow that with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you say buck me? Well, if you're in Tampa, buck you. You continue to lose. Who else do you have in the division? Let me take a look. You've got the Atlanta Falcons. What's this with another bird team? This team is not flying anywhere. In fact, they're flying into the ground. They're playing so bad. Shifting gears, we're going to go to the north. The Detroit Lions continue their winning ways. Roar, roar, roar. As they won over the Green Bay Packers on Gobble Gobble Day at 7-5. The Bears are barely winning. Now it's 6-6. Who's following them? Who cares? The Green Bay Packers? Well, without Aaron Rodgers, there is no Green Bay Packers. They need that quarterback in. The time might be running out on them. We're going to shift gears and we're going to take it to the West. Very interesting division. The Seahawks playing in the Dome. What's going on in Seattle? Well, it always rains there, I know that much, but they continue winning. So something's going on. It's a close match in this division. We also have the Arizona team, which almost came back and clipped the Eagles, but they fell 3 points short. We're going to follow that up with the St. Louis Rams, who fell today to the 49ers, who continue to dig for gold as they win. They are in the playoff hunt with Carolina. Over to the AFC. The Patriots, once again being patriotic to their team and their fans with another victory. Tom Brady is pulling rabbits out of his hat and throwing footballs down the field, and his receivers are catching them. The Miami Dolphins are swimming high and they're swimming low. The Dolphins, are keeping track in the division with a victory today, still in the playoff hunt. The Jets are losing their fuel. Could they use help? Let's say if Benny joined, you'd have Benny and the Jets. Maybe that would put some spark back into their engines. They lost today, and the Bills, well, they're out of it. They have no shot at all. The Indianapolis Colts, riding high with another victory today after a very disappointing loss at home last week. That division is heating up. You got the Titans coming in right behind them. The Houston team is struggling. A very disappointing year after high hopes were raised. And Jacksonville, a team that also sucks, let's just say. In the West, what's going on with Andy Reid? Is somebody giving him Philadelphia cheesesteaks? Because they continue to choke. 3 in a row. Something's going on in KC. And it's not good. It's Philadelphia again, I'll tell you. The Broncos, another victory. I'll tell you, those Stallions get up in the air. That team looks like it's going to be tough to catch. The other teams in the division, hanging in there. The Raiders. Well, you know what? You got to give this guy McGloin, or is it McGroin? Well, either one, he was holding something down there. Give him a little bit of credit. They put up a fight against the Cowboys on Gobble Gobble Day, but fell 7 points short. Followed by the San Diego Chargers. Not a lot of hope for them. Take away their charge cards because they should use cash. They're not doing too well. So it looks like going into Week 14, teams with the most momentum. Fly, Eagles, fly with 4 in a row. Carolina, 8 in a row. Hey, watch out for the Saints. Watch out for the Seattle team. And we go to the AFC. New England Patriots. Keep going, my friends. The Broncos. Chase, maybe you should not feed Andy Reid before the game and maybe he'll have some energy and put you guys back on winning trails. Dan?
Santa has come to town across the USA this week as the holiday shopping season got underway for their 4th or 5th straight week already. In fact, the extension of the holiday season has pushed the Christian right, who bitch about putting Christ back into Christmas, just a little farther to the right, as Native Americans have now chimed in about taking the Indians out of Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's also causing a stir in the African American community for taking the black out of Black Friday. But for more on that, we're going to go to our own Tony Viejo and his mindless thought of the week. Tony?
Thanks, Dan. Yes, Black Friday was this past Friday, and it was a joyous occasion for wait, I'm sorry. Black Friday started on Thursday this year at like 8 p.m., 6 p.m., and 5 p.m. Pacific Central Standard Time in 3 different time zones in a synchronicity event that took place for the pagan holiday, where we gather and contribute, and pay tribute to our commerce gods by spending money on things that we don't need. And then also, certain people must be sacrificed for the tribes. As I said earlier tonight, there was 2 tramplings involved in this. The lower rung people of society must be sacrificed for this. Those 2 people that were trampled were employees that possibly could not have been making more than at least, at the bare minimum, $14 an hour because of a holiday pay. And those people were trampled to death for that kind of job. Just let that sink in for a second. That's kind of sad. But they did get their TVs for $93, their 30-inch televisions for $93. They did get those, so that was a beautiful thing. You see what's happening, people? All we're doing is making ourselves into a society that doesn't give a crap about each other anymore. And now all we're going to do is continue to become worse as a civilization. This is a beautiful thing. I'm so happy this is what the holiday season has brought us. I really hope that someone gets on the horn and tries to take back Christmas. You know, the whole Christ thing. Let's get back to that. Shit, I'm an atheist. That sounds like a great idea. I will go to church and spend time with my family on the 25th of December if you people just stop buying crap and trampling over people just trying to pay their fucking bills, alright? Calm the fuck down. You're getting me worked up. I don't like being worked up. Back to you, Dan.
Well, that about wraps up our show for the week. I want to thank everybody involved. Darren, Dave, Tim, Tony, Mark, and of course our thoughts are with our friend John Rice. We miss his gaming update. And keep him in your prayers. Have a good week. We'll see you next time. Now I'm Only Serious News' Sunday paper program.